So one of the really cool things about being one church that has multiple locations is we can come together for a week like this and we can pool our resources and we can all be together as one church. And we can get to meet new people and we can get to see people that maybe we don't get to see all the time. We can compete in friendly competition, sometimes not so friendly. We can love each other. We can have a great time together. But then, as great as this week was, Jordan, you're living your best life right now, aren't you? There you go. But then, as great as this week was, guys, this is the best part of the week right now.
Yeah.
Because what we get to do after experiencing this together, we get to go back to each of our campuses, each of our communities, each of our schools soon. Sorry to bring that up. But we get to spread out as a church on the same team with the same mission, and we get to walk this out in our communities. And we don't have much long here. There's something we're going to get you guys to do briefly in just a moment. But I want each of these guys up here to give a very personal word to your campus. After the experience we've had this week, what would you say, Will, to our Lake Cooley students? What do you want to see in 2 minutes or less? What do you want to see walking out of here?
I couldn't picture a better starting point for us at Lake Cooley. So we've been meeting, every Sunday, but this will be our first fall together. And I picture us leaving camp right now at a fork in the road. We've got two choices. We can steer one direction, just like Cody was saying, grasping the pen, trying to write our own story, letting circumstances, right, letting our own sin, letting the world write our story. Or we can take the other path, and we can let God write our story. And we can do that together. And so as we start school, as we begin midweeks for the first time together as Lake Cooley campus, we got two options. I know which one I'm praying for each and every one of you to choose. I want God to write your story. And I want God to write your story in your schools and as we build a student group together. That's my prayer.
Man, I cannot wait to see what happens this fall at Lake Cooley as you guys start programming, midweeks kicking off at Lake Cooley. Man, it's going to be so cool to be a part of that. How many Lake Cooley folk in the house today? Lake Cooley, come on now. God is going to use you to be the core group to do something special in y'all's community. And man, I could not be more excited for y'all. Jordan, I know there are some exciting things on the horizon for Woodruff, where God has brought y'all over the past really year and a half, 2 years. Has been incredible. What do you want to see as the next step in Woodruff?
Yeah, we've had such a great year and a half since I've been at the Woodruff campus. Our Woodruff campus students are just absolutely amazing. And what really hurts my heart about the city of Woodruff is the youth, the students in Woodruff are already discounted. They're looked at as, man, they are not going to make a change in this next generation. They're already looked down upon. Guys, when I look at you today, I have no fear about the next generation because I see the students that are going to lead out in the city of Woodruff. I see the students that are going to lead out in Woodruff High School and Woodruff Middle School. I see the students that are going to show Jesus to that person next to them, show them the love that they need, show them the light of Jesus in their life. And that's what I hope for. That's what I pray for. I pray for that our students right here, they take what they got from this camp, their story that they've been working on from this camp, they take it back to the city of Woodruff, and it drastically changes the lives of the people around them. Don't discount yourself because of your youth, but set an example for everyone around you.
Man, that's good. That's good. We know that middle school ministry at our central campus is phenomenal. One of the best middle school ministries in the state, maybe the nation. But we're not satisfied with having the largest. Like, that's not what we're about. We want to reach we want to have the largest because we want to reach every student within 1,000 miles of our church. But we're not measuring the numbers. That's not our standard. That's not our goal. That's not what we want. Chandler, what do you want to see these middle schoolers do? Not just as, oh, we do cool programming. We have great small groups. What do you want to see them do?
Yeah, I think sometimes as a student pastor and when we do retreats and events like this, you'll hear maybe this phrase, spiritual high, to where you'll come, this like mountaintop experience of you're making commitments and maybe because of conviction and you're committing to certain things in your life, and then we see that Monday comes and it's all kind of just falls apart, and it's really like, well, I'll have that moment again next year. And I think about like, what do I want for the middle school students, everyone, like, and I'm not shy away from spiritual highs, like Peter preaching on the day of Pentecost, like that was like a huge moment of thousands of people giving their life to Christ. But what if it just ended there? If it just ended at the day of Pentecost, like we probably wouldn't be here. And I just want you to know, like, have this moment, but let this be a catapult. Let this be the wind behind your sails to push you to make this a lifestyle. Because not only, we've been talking about stories, but your story doesn't just stop here. It's not like, okay, check, got my story figured out. No, your story continues. And so I'm just going to share real quick just about the booklet that myself and Adam Knight, our intern, we've been working on for the past few weeks. And so you all had a booklet with devos and stuff in it. And every single one of you, when you get off the bus at Church at the Mill, you're going to be handed a booklet. And it's going to be a 4-week Bible reading plan to just give to you and say, hey, listen, you want to be a Christian? This is it. This is the roadmap. So not only does it have a 4-week Bible reading plan, where you're going to be looking at stories like Peter's story, like Joseph's story, like interactions that Jesus had with other people. You're going to be reading the book of James. But there's also areas in there to teach you how to do a quiet time. In this booklet, it's going to teach you, how to actually read your Bible. It's going to teach you also, it's going to show you the importance of accountability, like Pastor Tripp talked about last night. And there's going to be an opportunity in there where you're going to write someone's name that you've talked to, that they're going to keep you accountable. It's going to show you how to have accountability. It's going to also show you how to reach your friends. That there's going to be a commitment section on the back to where you're going to write students' names in that you're telling yourself, hey, I'm going to reach this person with my story. And so my motivation, my encouragement for you is don't let your story end here. Like, God has been working too much for this to be a 5-day experience. Like, this is something that I pray that maybe one day your children, your grandchildren's generations to come will be like, hey, so-and-so, my grandma, my aunt, they made a commitment at Charleston Southern University at a Students at the Mill camp, and my whole family is different because of it. Like, I don't want this to just sit here. I want your story to continue. What do I tell you? If you read God's word, how many days a week? 5. How many minutes? 5. It'll change your life. Start that.
That's good. For our high schoolers, and really for all of our students, my prayer continues to be that you will realize a story so powerful. Not a one-time story, not a has-been story, but a continuing story that is so powerful that you have to tell it. You have to tell it. Psalm 107:2 says, let the redeemed of the Lord tell their story. I think of in John chapter 9, there was this blind beggar, and he encountered Jesus, and Jesus heals him. It's kind of a funny story if you want to go back and read it, how Jesus could have just spoken it into existence, but Jesus makes mud with spit, and he has this guy put it in his eyes and then wash in the river, all this stuff. Jesus heals this guy. And this dude goes away from encountering Jesus, and he's rejoicing and he's celebrating. And people began to question if what happened to him was real. Even the religious folks come to him and they're questioning, well, we're skeptical. Tell me about this. I need more answers about Jesus, all this stuff. And they're asking, well, Jesus healed on the Sabbath. Is he a sinner? Is he breaking the law? All this stuff. And check out the guy's response. The guy says in John 9, he tells them, I don't know the answers to all of your questions. He says, but I know this. This is what I know. I was blind, but now I can see. Y'all, couldn't nobody argue with his story as he lived it out. People will be skeptical when you leave here. Another Camp High, like these guys said. Oh, yeah, but is he really going to be different? Did she really encounter someone? Well, answer this. How does this work? And what about this? And, well, what do bad things happen to good people? And they will unload all of their theological baggage and questions on you. Some of them you'll know the answer to. Some you won't. You know what you can say? Man, I don't know all the answers to these questions. I'm happy to look into it and find out. But here's one thing I do know. My life has been changed because of Jesus. How do I know he's real? I know he's real because he lives inside of me. I know he's real because my story is a part of his story, and I can see that right now. That's my prayer for y'all. If any of y'all were healed of a terminal disease, you would tell everyone, you would shout it, you would proclaim it, you would want everyone to know about it. Well, guess what? The redeemed in here, those who have given their lives to Christ, you have been healed of the most terminal disease ever, and it's called sin. It leads not only to physical death, but spiritual, eternal death. Let the redeemed of the Lord tell their story. Y'all, that's my prayer for you. I hope this week, through some incredible preaching, incredible worship, you have been able to get a glimpse of God's story. And y'all, I've been a Christian a long time, and I'm still trying to understand it every day. It blows my mind. But my prayer is you've gotten a glimpse of that this week, and you've gotten just a little glimpse of how your story fits into that, and because of that, how valuable it is. And as you begin to give it away, you realize that value more and more and more. But my prayer is that as you go home, you will walk that story out in confidence and in power and with the expectation, not that God can use you, but that God will use you. We've got some folks that are going to pass out some papers to you at this time. And as these papers are passed out, we're going to take about the next 10 minutes, and I want you to write down some responses on this paper. There's a couple of questions in there about this week at camp. We always want to get better, so we want to ask, like, what did you enjoy about the camp? What could we do better next time? But then there's a couple of questions on there that we want you to write down. We want you to articulate, what did God do in your life this week? And then the last question on there is, what is your word? What is one word that would right now, at this place in your story, what is one word that would best describe your story? We're going to give you about 10 minutes, and then we're going to transition to something else, and then we're going to let you guys see a really cool video in just a bit. Yeah, we want our adult leaders as well to fill this out. All of our adult leaders, if you can fill this out as well. Make sure you put your name on them. If you need a pen, raise your hand and we'll get those to you if you still need a pen. will come to you. We need a more paper down here. Front right needs another paper. give you a few more minutes. Let's try to remain silent while everyone finishes writing. A few more minutes. You just hold on to the papers right now. We'll pass them all at one time. Hold them. Hold them. We'll pass them all in just a minute. Let's let some folks focus as they finish up writing. This is very, very important to us. So just hold on to them, and we'll pass them at one time. Thank you.